So, being sober. It's a thing. A lot of people like doing it. And as I get older in age, as opposed to older in other things, I find myself spending more days, not imbibing alcohol or weed. But quitting it cold turkey? Ooh, that doesn't sound fun. But that's why I had comedians Sharon Spell and James Robilotta to teach me a little bit more about what it's like to live clean. What was this? I have no idea how the sober live, but take a little listen, and maybe you will.
You may love a thing that I can't stand, spiders, tofu, watching Homeland. Our interests are all varying. It's fun to be contrarian, but I'll try things that you all love to see if I can rise above. But maybe there's a chance that I just won't. So in that case, don't mind if I don't.
Welcome to Don't Mind If I Don't. I'm your host, Aaron Gold. This is the show where I don't like things and fans and experts come on and show me why I'm wrong, so hopefully I can be a better person. And today, not even just today, we're doing this whole goddamn month I'm being sober. Sobriety is today's topic. You can tell I'm excited about it. And hopefully my energy will be picked up by our two wonderfully sober guests. First up, professional speaker, author, and creator of the legendary hip-hop improv group North Coast, James Robilotta.
Yeah, in the building. What's going on? Clear-minded, clear-headed, and clear everything else.
Clear channel. What's up?
Nailed it. Rule of threes.
Is it Robilotta? Did I pronounce
Robilotta, you nailed it, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Some say Robilotta, it doesn't matter.
Every time I see it, I want to say Robilotta.
Sure. That's
okay.
Incorrect.
Well, good to know.
Do people say that? They say a variety.
They say a variety. Yeah, we get all across the spectrum when anybody here calls
Robo-Leota.
Yep.
You're Rob Leota.
The worst I've ever heard was Bobble-off.
That's not even trying. Yep. The other lovely voice you're hearing is comedian, storyteller, and host of the podcast, The Sharon Spell Show, Sharon Spell.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
We can prove it because you're here.
I have a driver's license.
Oh, don't gloat.
And an NYC ID.
I've heard that a lot of people need to get both. I have a driver's license, but I don't have an NYC ID. Am I good?
Sure.
Right.
I use my NYC ID for deals, but I also use it for ID getting into buildings and such as that. So it's a good thing. It's free.
Well, as much as I like free things and deals, that's not today's topic.
Well, all right then.
Today's topic is sobriety. Now, we're recording this currently on March 9th. This is the first half of this. We haven't done this before, but I keep saying we. It's just me. I haven't done this before, but this is a two-parter episode. We're going to be recording the second half at the end of March when I have done this full month of sobriety. And just to define it for anyone listening, this means no alcohol. I'm also doing no energy drinks, which I tend to have one a day of. And also, unless I get an anxiety attack or my concussion symptoms are really bothering me, no weed. I smoke weed pretty much every night. So that's a bummer. So guys, why do you like this lifestyle? Somebody explain why this is preferable to not having fun.
It wasn't fun for me at the end of my drinking tenure. It was a chore of managing, like, getting alcohol. And I knew it logically, but I wasn't emotionally ready to quit until one day I just woke up with a very mild hangover, just like a normal Wednesday morning. But I had a very clear thought, wake up, dummy, you're missing it.
Ooh.
Because the way I was drinking, I was missing my life. So that's what started me just putting things in motion to just try it. And I didn't make an announcement. I didn't Facebook or vague book it, to say like, I really need help, guys, because I needed to help myself. and I didn't know if I could do it. And this is my journey. Other people will try other things for themselves, but I needed to give my brain a chance because I realized, like, I'm in New York. Nobody's hurting me anymore. The grief I'm walking with is always going to be part of me, and I need to figure out how to incorporate it into my daily life. And so for me, it wasn't fun anymore, and I was ready to engage.
Well, that's really admirable, and I feel like kind of a dick for the way I introed this now.
No wrong answer.
Okay.
No wrong answer. Because for other people, it is fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like getting drunk,
Yeah.
but I do like getting tipsy, and I love the taste of an IPA, a really good IPA, or some scotch. Oh man, at the end of a long day, that's my jam. But how long have you been sober, Sharon?
4 years.
4 years. Mazel tov.
Thanks. It feels good.
How about you, James?
I have never been drunk before in my life. I've never drank in my life. I've had a couple
Well,
of
James,
sips.
we've got a surprise for you.
Oh, what is that whole array of bottles? I have never drank. I've tried sips of alcohol here and there. And like, for example, I went on the bourbon trail recently and I did a couple of tastings just because I believe that in the moment, that I believe experiencing whatever the coolest thing is to experience in the moment. And so there, I love learning the way things are made. And so why wouldn't I also taste the final product? But I have never drank. I've never been drunk before. I like to say I'm naturally obnoxious.
Yay!
That has nothing to do, and nothing, there's anything wrong with this, but there's nothing to do with religion or any sort of health concerns. As a matter of fact, if you saw how big I was, you would probably assume I drank. But alas, I am festively and sexily plump. So you're welcome.
Can I ask why the choice to never take the plunge into being plunged?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. The plunge. I made the choice when I was in middle school and high school, just because I really kind of thought to myself, I like who I am. I've worked hard to be who I am. And why would I put a substance in my body to change it? I am naturally and delightfully extroverted. So I will, I'm relatively fearless in social situations. So I will sing karaoke. I will get up and dance on that bar. I will flirt with that person and don't really need the help of alcohol to do any of those things. And also I like that my friends can call me and they know that they can always call me because I'll be right there if they need any help, if they are drunk or whatever. So I like being the driver. So yeah, but those are big things. There were a couple other things that happened in my life when I was younger that didn't determine this, but more like cemented it in. Alcoholism is definitely in my family. My father, the last drink he took was on the day that I was born. So he's now been sober for 35 and a half years. My uncle has gone through it. My grandfather went through it. I have a brother who's gone through it. And so if it's not genetic, it's very coincidental. / it's genetic. But, and then unfortunately my grandfather, when I was 7, was killed by a drunk driver. And so those were all things that kind of cemented in the beliefs that I had already made the choice. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Now, are you in a competition with your dad? Because you have him beat by one day. Now, is it going to be who can last longer? Is there something riding on this?
Yeah, so it's interesting. We both had our first sip of alcohol when I gave a best man speech at my brother's wedding. So in the first sip of alcohol during my life. So I've now had a total of 5 or 6 ships of champagne, sips of champagne at best man speeches that I've given. Like I said, I don't drink. I've never really finished a full thing of alcohol.
Now, may I ask, does your sobriety also apply to other substances, like my good kind bud weed?
Bud, I see what you did there.
Thank you. I made a pun.
I love it. I'm friends, like I live down the street from weed, but we don't really hang out. Like anytime that we've hung out, I fall asleep. And I fall asleep naturally for free. And it's not a good look at a party or out in public in general. So and people try to convince me like, oh, you have to try this different strain. You have to try edibles, try. And I'm like, why do I have to keep trying? I don't want to have to spend money to do something that's going to also fail. Like, I don't feel like I've never felt the benefits that other people feel. Like, I see other people honestly benefiting from it, and some people abuse it, but it's just never been in my wheelhouse.
You sound like my mom.
I hear that a lot.
On a previous episode, she and I smoked weed together, so I could try and convince her to like it.
How did that work? Did she fall asleep on the...
She didn't, but she has the same opinion pretty much of you. It's like, not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but gets why other people do it and doesn't have a problem with it. James, how about you?
Yeah, I don't drink coffee. I never smoke cigarettes. I smoke probably like 7 or 8 or 7 to 10 cigars a year. I enjoy that. That's mainly for the look and trying to keep my bossosity high.
It's for the look. You just bite it. It's for the look. You don't light it.
There it is.
Right.
You got it. Yeah, thank you. But actually, had we had this interview a month or so ago, I would not have been able to tell you that I've ever tried weed before. But North Coast headlined the Amsterdam Improv Festival. And see previous comment about, like I said, I went on the Bourbon Trail and was there learning how things were made. And so if you're in the city of Amsterdam, it's like, well, this is a huge part of the culture here, or at least the perceptive culture there. And so, I tried it for the first time. I was high. And no one told me what to do or how to how it would hit me or anything like that, or how much to smoke or not smoke. And so I probably smoked too much. I probably needed to start because it's like the purest of the pure there.
Yeah.
I didn't even smoke like an incredible amount. It's not like I handled the whole blunt on myself, but I definitely was very high, and did not like it. It was so interesting. I felt like the whole world was laughing at me. And so we could dive deep into self-esteem issues if you like right now. I'm here for it. Yay. But that was not cool. Especially in a place where I am typically a role model in a lot of those ways. So that's an interesting pressure that I put myself. Again, something else we can unpack. So it was weird to be in that place.
No, I can understand that. Like when I've never been one of those people that's like, you don't smoke weed? Because I find that so fucking obnoxious. Like,
right.
To each their own.
Right.
But I think that, different amounts of weed do different things. Like, I socially, I can smoke like maybe a little bit and still be, have fun. But if I smoke too much socially, I just get in my head and I'm just like, everyone's mad at me. I did I'm bad. I should leave. I'm sorry. But when I can smoke that a ton when I'm by myself, just at the end of the day, just unwinding and watching like The Avengers for the 80th time. That's movie. So good. I rewatched it. I was like, God damn, that's a damn near perfect movie. I could go on about Marvel movies. You guys see Black Panther yet?
Yes.
Twice.
Oh, so fucking good.
So good.
Oh,
I agree with you, fellow colonizer.
Yeah. We know what we are.
Yeah.
I will say I've it's now the 9th. I haven't had any alcohol. I've had O'Doul's, which is like 0.5% alcohol, so that doesn't really
What did that
count.
feel like?
I just like the taste of beer.
Okay.
And when I was at a party, it was nice to be able to like have that. Because then I didn't feel like I was left out of the drinking. I didn't feel the pressure. I didn't feel like, fuck, maybe I give myself one day of, no, I didn't. It was just a great substitute. And like, at the end of a long day, a couple days ago, I grabbed a 6-pack of O'Doul's just because it was a rough one. And I just needed a little bit of release. And it was lovely. Like, even if it was just psychosomatic, it was nice. Like the taste of beer is, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
For the listener, I'm doing double thumbs up, and I have been for like a good 15 seconds. I show no signs of stopping.
But you're showing signs of gun
show. Ch-ch.
Yeah.
That's how you cock a gun, right? Ch-cha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I do notice that like waking up, I can go from like 0 to 60 a lot quicker. Like I have more energy in the mornings. Also, I've been taking a lot more naps.
That'll happen.
since you used to drink,
Right.
what kind of differences did you notice in your body after you stopped?
I noticed more energy, and I noticed rapid weight loss because I substituted sugar for alcohol. So I was eating fewer calories in candy bars than I was consuming in alcohol. So the first year I stopped drinking, I lost 50 pounds.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it was, it was dramatic. And like my brain didn't catch up with what my body was doing. Like it took a while to normalize. I've since put some of that weight back on because eventually my body caught on and was like, wait a minute, this is sugar. We don't want to process this so much. You silly. You stopped the one poison and put the other poison in.
Pretty sneaky, sis.
So this year, right. So this year I have cut out a lot of refined sugar, like the obvious things of cookies and cakes. And I was doing emotional eating where I had been emotionally drinking, but it is still so much better. And so recently I've switched to fruit. And I found like I'll have
you
like
sound sad about it as you say it.
But I'm surprised. I think it's more surprise because I look forward to getting that fruit, and I've
You
never
laughed
thought.
as you said that.
I know
You don't mean this.
but I do mean laughing is like a defense mechanism.
Okay.
As comedians, we all kind of have this. Like, but she's sad, but she's laughing. What's happening?
All right, that's fair.
Because I'm shocked at the fact that I would be willing to do this. Because if you saw me, like I would eat cake for dinner like a triumphant 5-year-old in a grown-up's body. Like I Freaky Friday'd myself and like, I'm having Little Debbie's for dinner. Woo! Sharon Spell. And so now to say like, I look forward to a balanced, healthy meal and like having a piece of fruit for dessert. I do like that. I do. And I feel better. One day last week, I did have a stressful day and I broke down and bought like an 85% chocolate bar, the 85% cacao. Mm-hmm. And it tasted like punishment in a lot of ways because it was
like
not
good punishment.
Like what?
Like good punishment? Like BDSM? You into that shit, Sharon?
Like I paid the mistress and she didn't punish me. It's like I paid for services not received. How about that?
Oh God, that's like double BDSM.
Sharon Spell. But I ate it and I only ate half the bar, whereas
I like that you're Jason Derulo, like whenever you make a really good point.
It's my brand.
Yeah.
And his. But like it just opened my eyes to the fact that I don't need that sugar crutch anymore. And I like that I gave into my want to like self-soothe that way, but I also like took measures to not self-sabotage. And the reason I quit drinking is so I could start thinking about what I'm doing in my behavior in the world and my behavior toward myself and engage. So eating fruit is not really punishment.
No, it's
delightful.
not. I mean, unless it's like one of those times when you get a navel orange and you're like really excited about it, then you open it up and take a bite and just something about it was wrong. And then you just feel tricked because like you put in all that effort to peel that motherfucker.
Yeah, you sure did.
And then it came and just smacked you in the tongue.
It was like a weird sour bit or something.
It's just
yeah,
rude.
It's just a rude orange.
It's a rude orange.
I think a couple months ago, I don't think I was getting drunk too much, but I did notice I was gaining weight, and I think I was just like, I think I'm drinking too much. So I started subbing out a lot of my alcohol with Gatorade, which I know is just another thing of sugar, but I feel like I'm taking my steps.
There you go.
And I did notice like feeling a bit healthier. I felt a little better about myself because it is a depressant.
Yes.
But why do I like it so much?
Well, I'm curious. I want to come back to you. You mentioned something earlier when you're talking about when you're at the party and it's like you felt like you needed to have a bottle of beer in your hand just because you wanted to quote unquote fit in or just not, you don't want people to question you when you have a great reason of like, I'm doing a podcast. I'm trying shit out.
I mean, it's not,
you had a, I'm curious to see like, where did that social pressure come in?
Because most people don't care what's in your cup.
No,
they care what's in their own cup.
I will say it's not about, maybe I misspoke. It's not about like I was worried somebody was going to like question me because like a couple times I've been to the this was a party that happens every once in a while, and I go there a lot, and I tend to drink. And this time I was just drinking O'Doul's, and people were like, "Why are you drinking O'Doul's?" And I just said, I'm sober this month, and no one really gave me shit for it.
Right.
And even if they had, I wouldn't have cared. It's more. So I don't give a fuck what another person thinks about my habits. I'm being very open about them very publicly right now.
Good.
It was more for me, like, if I'm at a party, I tend to I don't know if this is healthy or not, but I'll clock how much I've been drinking throughout the night, because every time I'll pop a bottle of beer, I'll put the bottle cap in my pocket.
Smart.
Just so I can keep track. And if I ever wake up with 10 bottle caps in my pocket, I'd go oh, okay, that was too much. But that doesn't happen. I think at most, since I've been doing that, it was 6. I don't know. It's just comforting to blend into that social setting. Not feeling like anybody will stand up and point a finger at me and go not one of us. But it just felt more natural. Do you think that's a problem?
I mean,
there's a long pause there, so I'm going to chalk that as a yes.
I wouldn't say it's a problem, I guess. Do you have a problem with not? I don't know. I don't know where I want to go with this. I don't necessarily like the taste of beer. I don't miss it. I don't. Every now and then I miss the taste of wine, and I will miss a red wine with dinner. But I think if I knew what a glass of wine was, then I wouldn't miss it. I would have more than a glass. It was never a glass of wine.
It was, yeah.
I would like a glass. Well, if I could have a glass, then I would still be having a glass.
Gotcha.
And then I think, well, what do I miss about the taste of it? Well, it's not necessarily taste. It's what led after, the numbing of feelings and so forth. So when I thought about what the taste of wine meant to me, it was the feelings associated with it.
Well, I can honestly, I'm being very harshly honest with myself this month when it comes to this. Giving up drinking is not as difficult. Because again, I don't like being drunk. Last month, a couple of friends and I had a D&D night, and I got so accidentally drunk that I forgot how the evening ended, and I didn't even remember how I got home, and I just woke up feeling I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure I was an asshole. And I just called so many people trying to just find out what I'd done. Turns out nothing really, but I still felt that guilt because I couldn't remember. And that was a really bad feeling. I've never liked blacking out. I think the worst was once after a birthday party of mine a couple years ago, I woke up, went to the bathroom, saw the shower curtain on the ground, saw my footprints from my shoes all along the bathtub. My shirt was in the sink, not wet, just there. And the toilet seat, the toilet lid was shattered into 3 pieces. I have no idea what had happened. I know that I caused it, but I have no idea what happened that night. And I kind of found that really funny, but also really sad.
Yeah.
If I never got fucking hammered again, I'd be fine. But if I never had another sip of beer or another taste of scotch, I'd really miss it, because I can, honest with myself, I do really like the taste. Weed is tougher. Weed is tougher because I whenever I get an anxiety attack, it's really nice to have that. Or at the end of the day, just chilling. It's nice to have that and turn my brain off a little bit.
Right. That's a pattern that you formed that you really enjoy. And now your brain expects that pattern.
That's true.
Yeah.
And so going to sleep, I would assume, has been harder.
Yes.
I would assume that makes complete sense to me because your body's used to it. Yeah. It's the same thing if I take Advil PM every single night, then, and then I don't take Advil PM that night, I can't sleep. And so, I totally hear that.
And yeah,
I don't think that's not bad, right? I mean, I think I think that there's a difference between decompression and inaction.
Can you speak on that?
So, I think decompression is fine. I had a rough day. I'm gonna have a drink. I had a rough day. or I just need to escape, right? my heart's broken. Let me escape for a second and let me have this weed, or let me whatever it is for you. But if we do that day in and day out, then that turns into inaction. And that is therefore unhealthy, right? Like we can talk about work-life balance all the time. And oftentimes we blame work for work-life balance, but a lot of times it's also the fact that we're not doing anything that brings us joy outside of work. Ooh. So we have nothing to look forward to except this pattern that we've put ourselves into. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot more sense than I wish it did.
Yeah. I started.
Sorry to go deep here, but
that's
kind
it.
of what I'm seeing. Yeah,
this is the whole point of the podcast, so I can really, expand my horizon.
Like we all have rituals, and some of those rituals are cold comfort. And so I found that I was having to replace rituals at nighttime of unwinding, and I ended up like burning sage or doing like some sort of meditation. And unfortunately, I grind my teeth at night, so I have a night guard.
Yeah.
It's kind of my binky now because as soon as I put it in, it's nighttime. Like once it's in my mouth, that's the cue to fall asleep. And like within a few minutes, I'm asleep. So it's like part of my ritual, like right when I'm ready to go to bed is I put that in and night.
Yeah,
nighttime.
Pavlov figured us all out.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Pavlov had us down.
He nailed it. I mean, I know in college, before I went to bed, I would open up a can of Vicks Vapor Rub and just inhale like 3 to 5 really deep breaths of it. And that
is this a bit? Really?
No, this is definitely serious. Yeah. I find it to be very soothing, whether it's the eucalyptus or what, I don't know. But yeah, I would take and maybe it's just the act. Maybe I didn't need Vicks Vapor Rub. Maybe I could have just taken 5 really deep breaths and let them out. But whatever it is, that allowed me to do that and it calmed me down. So that, yeah.
Or maybe you were getting high because like that's why koalas do it.
Sure.
Like they're jamming on that eucalyptus so they can get a buzz on. One thing I forgot to do at the top of the episode, everything on this show gets rated on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 is my ambivalence, 10 being blood-curdling hatred. Not sobriety in terms of like, I woke up and I'm sober, like, but more of like just hardcore sobriety, complete, no foreign things in my body like that at all. I'd give that a 6. Just because it is nice to get high, kids. Find some drugs. Do it. It's a good time.
So wait, is love in the middle of that?
If we convince me that sobriety is the way to go, we drop below 0 into positive numbers. Because technically the scale is on negative numbers, but yeah. I'll drop a chart someday.
Yeah, no, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah.
You unwrapped what I left there.
So is that short? So I'm curious. I mean, you've separated weed and alcohol. Like, where's weed and where's alcohol on that list?
Alcohol is
alcohol a 6 and weed is a 7, or
I'd put alcohol. See, because when it comes to getting drunk, I'd say I'd put getting drunk very, very low on the list. Like I'm not crazy about it. Yeah. But like the taste of like a really good scotch, like Napogue Castle, which is a Scotch whiskey. Don't send me any tweets. That is like I have this monthly show called You Are Not Alone. And the bar right next door to the Magnet Theater has my favorite scotch, Napogue Castle, which is hard to find. So I love to just at the end of one of those great shows, mark it with a glass of my favorite scotch. And that I love that tradition. But as far as getting drunk like that, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But weed is up there, man. Like it's because
your face just changed.
It
like
did.
When you said that is
I
what
like it a lot.
What I giggled at. Like,
I have allowed myself weed this month if I get a depressive downswing, which hasn't happened. If I get a severe anxiety attack and none of my other breathing techniques or medications help, which I did one night, or if my post-concussion syndrome gets really, really, really bad, and none of my other things get through it, and that happened one night. So I smoked weed twice in March so far.
Whereas before you would just smoke every day. Okay.
Well, every night. I'm not someone who can really
wake and bake.
Yeah.
Not so much. Okay.
Like the only time I'd ever really get high and then go do something is very rarely. I'd smoke a little bit of weed and then go to the gym if I was just having trouble getting and going to the gym, just because it would make getting there not as hard. I'd be like, oh, hey, I'm already there. Well, why not? Sharon, if you're going to laugh, please do it on mic, because then I sound so much funnier.
Wow.
There it is. Sharon Spell.
Sharon Spell.
I think there's nothing wrong with liking the taste of this stuff, right?
Right.
Like there's nothing wrong. Like if you need to have a quick Macallan 12 year, like get yourself some, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but
I agree with that.
There's
Like-
nothing wrong with that. I don't drink because I'm afraid to have one drink and then ruin my life, right?
Okay.
It's a personal choice that I've made. But now I think also there was a time where a number of months in a row where I sat in a room with someone who looked like a counselor because I sat in a room with a counselor. And,
I'm laughing. I'm laughing.
Sharon Spell. And and I think a lot of what I unpacked also were things that I didn't know about myself, like control issues and things like that. And so that's probably why weed also was very conflicting for me, because I am someone who's fairly calculated in his life. And so the fact that I automatically wasn't in control and everything was happening more slowly, but my brain inside was still flying, was discomforting to me, anxiety provoking. And that's for me. But still, like if you like the taste of some of this stuff, right? Like on the bourbon trail, like I tried Angel's Envy. I was like, this shit is delicious. This is amazing. I would have a glass of this. But yeah, so I think that's the difference, is that you found something that you really like. You know what I'm saying? If alcohol can be a hobby, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we know that, especially, all these craft beer bars and everything.
I
have
love
told us
them.
that, right?
I
And
love
that's
a good
badass.
craft beer. Yeah.
Right. That's badass. It's just like everything. It's moderation. I need to find the line for myself with chocolate and peanut butter, because it's getting very problematic very quickly.
And it's reminding me, I have had alcohol in my mouth since I quit drinking. And it was accidental. One time I was at a dinner party and they made a bourbon whipped cream and told the other sober person, but not me. So I just loaded it because yay, whipped cream, homemade, how wonderful. And I put it in my mouth and I tasted the bourbon. I used to drink bourbon. And it was disappointing because at this point I just want the sugar, because I had already made the switch in my mind to associating alcohol with poison and poisoning my life and stagnating me. So I had a different association with it. I used to be married, and my heavy drinking really started during that because it was not a good marriage, and I was sleeping on the couch for a lot of it. And in my mind, I've jumped to alcohol leads to that. It leads to not fulfilling my dreams and not saying my truth and living an authentic life. So when I had that whipped cream and had that moment, I was thinking nobody did anything wrong, but still gross,
Well, I'd say, why didn't they tell you?
They thought they did. Everyone else was drinking except the other sober person and me. And
Gotcha.
And she said, I made an announcement. I'm sorry. And I'm like, nah, all right, fine, whatever. I just know better now. Everything in this house is going to have something spiked in it.
Yeah.
And another time was at work. Somebody brought fresh fudge that he made, and I put it in my mouth. He said, there's Cointreau in it.
What's
and
Cointreau?
It is an orange liqueur. And it was burning. And I said, and I scraped it off my tongue, and he said, it burns off. It burns off. I was like, no. It burns off in your liver maybe, but no. But he was like, it's expensive. I was like, you should have given me a heads up.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have put it in my mouth.
That's on him for not warning you. Jesus. Okay, so alcohol, it seems like if I do decide at the end of this month to, drink again, it'll probably be a lot more sporadically, like at the end of You Were Not Alone or something. But weed, I think, if I'm being very, very honest with myself, I think I did fall into a pattern of doing it at the end of the night, just because my brain is racing. And you guys are very proactive doers as well, which is part of the reason why I wanted you two on this show. At the end of the day, a lot of the times it's hard for me to just turn my brain off and go okay, now it's time to relax and get ready for bed. And weed helps with that. Do you guys at the end of the day, do you have a ritual for okay, time to calm down, time to everything on my to-do list that I didn't finish will pass on for tomorrow or the next available day? What's your way of turning the brain down?
I think I have a couple things that I do, and a lot of them depend on whether or not my my partner is around or not. And I think one thing that she has helped me do a lot is she's helped me go actually go to bed. You know what I mean? It's like let's actually it's time to go to sleep. Let's go to bed, and being in the bed with her is now kind of like the trigger of like shutdown is started. You know what I mean? And so that's something for sure. And it was funny. She was not. We both travel a lot for work, and she wasn't here recently. And I stayed up till 4 a.m, just cranking shit out. And just had no business staying up, but I was up before and I was very productive and my mind was running. And so that's a pattern that I've gotten in when she is around that she helps me with. Is that, I guess she's that. And then when she's not around, to be very honest with you, masturbation is also very calming for me. I think ultimately it's my brain. I have ADHD as well, so my brain just keeps going. Right? Look at that over there. But yeah, my brain is all over the place. And so what I need to find something that can center me, and that's something like masturbation. You really focus on one thing, and then after it, if you just allow your brain to shut off, or you just kind of continue that process of that one single train of thought or whatever. Like I fall asleep pretty quickly afterwards.
Now I've used masturbation for that as well. I've dabbled in yes. The only thing that makes masturbation better is masturbation while high. Like, that's fun.
Wouldn't know.
Well,
I've tried with a partner and I can't feel anything and I'm starting to fall asleep. So no, for me, like every situation, it makes everything numb in a non-participatory way. And the person
with weed or?
Yeah, with weed. Just like anytime I've tried it, and sometimes in sexy times, it just like makes everything shut down and pass out. So what makes me pass out?
What's your end of the day, turn off the brain, wind down?
It depends on the day, but let's take, for example, like I bartend. And so when I am at that job, people see me as an empathetic listener, which I am, but a lot of people share and sometimes overshare. And I want to engage and I want to help people. And that's part of why I am sober. So I can be the driver and the listener and the pal. But by the time I get home, everybody's stuff is hanging over me as well as my stuff. So before I go back to the bedroom where boyfriend is, I'll take a moment and burn some sage and just take a moment to like think my thoughts and be in my space and touch the furniture and center myself and like, this is my home and I'm leaving work at work. And now I'm ready to participate in home life with boyfriend and not bring that into our world.
Would you classify that as meditation?
I think so. Yeah. Just like centering myself.
Certain mindfulness for sure.
Mindfulness. Yeah. But if it's a day when I have like a show and I've really rocked the stage and everything went well, I'll come home and like share that with my boyfriend and we laugh about it. And like he and I have been together 1.5 years, so this is still relatively new patterns, but this also works. Like he just fit into my life beautifully because it was time. And so coming home and sharing that with him is like a nice way to wind down.
I love that.
Yeah.
The other side is like I recently went through a breakup, and I would have that being in bed with that person would make me go to bed a lot earlier. Now I'm just, I don't know if it's the concussion or what, but I'm just tired a lot more. And I've also been napping a lot more since I started the sobriety. Maybe it's also the lack of energy drinks, which we haven't really talked about, but we don't really need to.
Yeah.
It's
they're
valid.
just bad for
I would
you.
assume that's probably in there as well.
I cut back on caffeine as well when I cut back on sugar, and I took some more naps. But my family naps. Like it's in my genetics to take naps.
I've never heard people who stop drinking that say they want to nap more. So I would assume that has more to do with the caffeine.
Well, I'm still drinking caffeine. Like I keep it to coffee or tea. Just none of the.
Do you add sugar to those?
Not really.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit.
So the energy drink also had
coffee.
Sugar.
Yeah.
So you cut down on sugar and the Monster ingredient.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the taurine and whatever else is in there.
That would make you nap.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I need to find my new way of winding down at the end of the night. I mean, there's always masturbation, which is great standby. But
And by the way, I
also-
did not comment on it earlier, but I'm also in favor. Go ahead.
Awesome. Great. Let's all high five with our dominant hands. Yay. That was sweet and weird. So what could I do? Because I can't burn any incense or sage in my apartment because one of my roommates is not a fan.
Right.
So like aside from just meditation, which I do on and off, but is never really clicked with me.
There are also anointing oils that you can use. And look, and it's basically, yeah. James just became a monk. And
James has crossed himself.
Yo, I'm anointed.
But when I use these anointing oils, I associate the fragrance with words that I say, like the calming, nice words that I say. So when I smell it, it helps me like get geared up or wind down and puts me in mind of the kind words that I've said to myself and then behave that way.
So maybe I should get some anointed oils or some more scented candles.
Something to do like a tactile, like a sensory change for you to help you, almost like a sensory blankie of sorts of like, you know, like this is my comfort. This is the thing that soothes me. And also like the weird thing I said before about, or unique to me, of my night guard being a thing that helps me wind down. Like I know I put this in to go to bed and then I go to bed. Yeah. Like you'll find a thing. Like,
I think also what I've heard people do. I mean, some people who love reading, and actually reading, not on your phone. So a real book, and so that's something that helps some people. But other people, it's like, no, I get wrapped up in the story and I can't sleep. So that's one thing. But I've also done some meditation as well. There's a really great app called Headspace. You've probably heard of it before. If not, I would check it out. It's free in the beginning.
That's how they get you.
Then, and then you can kind of just keep listening to those 10 episodes over and over again if you want for free, or you can go a little bit deeper. But meditation, I mean, ultimately that's another way of just kind of like channeling and soothing. But yeah, I'm not sure. There's so many certain things that you could do. It's about what's finding right for you.
Okay, well, throughout this month, I'll experiment with some things. You said essential oils or anointed oils?
Ask the monk. I can tell you what I use, but you can also use anything. Like lavender is a good one for winding down at night. You can get at any like over-the-counter drugstore or herby hippie store or whatever. There's a store in the East Village called Enchantments, and I like it a lot. And they have different concoctions, like mixtures of things that I enjoy, like talking to the people who work there and, you know, saying, I have this intention. What's a good thing to mix with this intention?
Okay.
So, and they're good at like matching those things.
And it's like anything else, though. I mean, any hobby or habit that you start, you have to do it for a while in order for it to set in, right? Like, I mean, weed may or may not have worked for you right away. Who knows? But now it's set into this pattern.
Yeah.
And so that's what's tough too. So it's like, tonight I'm trying lavender. Tomorrow I'm going to masturbate. Right. On Thursday I'm going to, right? Whatever. Yeah. I'm going to jog a mile and then lay down.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck that. Definitely not going to be that last one.
Preach.
Okay. So I guess for this month, I'll try and find some oils or some scented candles, and maybe get back into meditation. Maybe I'll do some reading because I have a whole bunch of books I haven't read and a bunch of graphic novels I haven't read yet.
Just think about what your habits are already and do something that's as simple as possible. Because if you just start trying a whole bunch of new different things, that's going to get you overthinking about, like, am I doing this right? Or what if I try it? Like James was just saying, do something as simple as possible and just something close to what you already do.
I like the idea of dedicating time to reading at the end of the night, because I do have a bunch of books I haven't finished. I have a whole bunch of books I haven't even started. And I do want to be more well read. So, okay, maybe I'll try reading and setting some oils or some scented candles. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. We could plug right now, but also the next half of this episode will be in a month. So anything that you've got to plug right now will probably
Sharon
You're
Spell.
relevant. Sharon Spell. Yeah, well, I'll talk to you guys at the end of the month. Thank you for joining me.
Keep strong.
I will.
Thank you.
I'm anointed.
Welcome back to us. It is a month later. It is now April 3rd. We had originally recorded on fucking early March or something. It was a month sober. A month sober for me. So to recap, it was no energy drinks, no alcohol, no weed. What it ended up turning out to be was I'd never had any energy drinks. Of the 31 days of March, I went 29 without any alcohol because one day I had a really long day and a friend offered me a beer and I just had a glass. And then one night I was just like, fuck it. And I split a bottle of champagne with a friend.
Cheat day.
It was a cheat day. I had one cheat day. And that time was also the only one time I smoked weed for fun. There were 11 other times I smoked weed. Oh, I'm sorry, no. Only 12 days without weed because it was treating my anxiety or sleep issues or days when I had concussion symptoms. Because I went to Enchantments and I got that oil that you guys told me to get. I found an oil that was perfect for me.
Yeah.
It's called Dove's Blood.
Okay.
It did not help.
With a name like
Well,
Dove's
the
Blood.
oil itself is just an oil. Like it's a meditative thing. It's like your mind, what your mind associates with the smell and the practice.
I mean, I sprayed it
It's
and then I
purposeful.
meditated and then I was like, I'm still anxious and can't sleep weed.
Yeah. It didn't happen overnight.
No.
I'm shocked.
Damn. Dove's Blood, too. You feel like
Dove's blood.
it would work.
You
right
would
away.
have thought, right? I was very creeped out when I found out that was the scent that was most relaxing to me.
Yeah.
And it didn't help you relax.
It helps me kind of relax, like in that, hey, my room smells really nice. That makes me feel good. The end.
At least now you can say this is what it sounds like when doves cry.
This is what it sounds like when doves bleed, when I bathe myself in the blood of my dove enemies.
Maybe you're just like my father. I don't know.
That is always great whenever a woman has told me that.
Yep.
So, yeah. So you tried things.
I tried things, and I will say I was sleeping and napping a lot more, at least at the beginning. I was reading more. I've been reading more, so that's good. As far as energy drinks, I think that's a good one to kick and stay kicked. Alcohol, I really like alcohol, you guys.
Sure.
And so I think I'm gonna keep drinking, but I think it's going to be a very occasional thing. Like this month really did show me that when it comes to alcohol, my body does react to not having it in my system as much.
How does it react?
Positively. Like I wake up, it's easier to wake up in the morning and just get going. I don't have days where I'm just like, I need a break from everything. I do still have those, but I don't have them like hangover-y.
Mm-hmm. And when you need a break from things, you usually turn to weed or something else?
Oh, no. I meant like I was referring to a day when like I've been drinking too much, and then the next day I'm like I'm dead to the world.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I don't miss those.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I do drink, tipsy is the farthest I want to go. I don't really feel the need to get drunk anymore.
Okay. There it is.
You fixed me.
Well, I mean, we talked about it also the last time how you've just grown to a place where you really enjoy beer and different types of beer and stuff like that.
And scotch.
Yeah. And scotch. Yeah, of course. So I mean, whatever, dude, like, we're not out here trying to suck joy.
No,
Yeah.
and it's about being mindful, is mindful practices and not just blindly consuming things.
Yeah. Yes. I like that a lot.
That's why I quit drinking, is because I wanted to experience life and feelings and engage, and stop just mindlessly numbing myself.
There were a couple instances where there were parties this month or gatherings that I went to where I would normally drink and just keep drinking. And instead I brought 6 packs of non-alcoholic beer. which granted is still alcoholic, but it's like only 0.5%. And I got to keep that rhythm going without, like, there were times I was given shit for drinking non-alcoholic beer, but I felt very comfortable. And like, I was able to, like, next day get up and go, no lag. Like,
Right.
I can see myself doing that a lot more and feeling comfortable in that atmosphere.
It saves you a little money too.
Definitely.
O'Doul's is cheaper than, Goose Point IPA.
That's a very good point. And I've shat on O'Doul's in the past, but it's not bad. Like, is if you want the taste of beer and you don't want to get drunk, it's not the worst. I know my voice went up 5 octaves when I said that, but a little bit. I'm lying to myself. But as for weed, though, I don't feel the need to smoke it every day. I did miss it a lot, and it does help with anxiety and stuff. But like, since it's now April 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these 3 days I've absolutely smoked weed. 2 days, because this is 11 a.m. this morning. I have not smoked weed yet.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not someone who can smoke weed and then go do things. It's end of the day, but I don't feel like I need it to fall asleep. It's just if my mind is being very chaotic and I'm breathing and, I have my oils or my candles or whatever and nothing is calming me down, then weed can make it so I don't care as much and makes it easier for me to settle. But I don't need it to enjoy myself when I get home. It's not like, oh, I'm home. Finally, time to spark up. People
Good.
say that, right?
Yeah.
Big thing,
Aloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that. I will also add, like, my drinking habit came about from sad times and loss of, like, my marriage and my parents' deaths. And the drinking was happening before that, but it got very heavy during those times. And when I quit and started feeling all the feelings, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to AA for support because I didn't know if I was going to quit. I thought I was taking a hard break for a while, but I did get into therapy. And I would just say that for it, in terms of the mindfulness of, like, identifying in myself, like, through therapy, through identifying, like, why I was drinking, why I want to not drink, those sort of things. And, like, learning to manage my feelings, being depressed and so forth. And it sounds like you had an opportunity to identify some of that this month.
Yeah. I was the hardest part of it was at the beginning of the month not smoking weed, or not inventing needs to. Like, the first couple weeks, I only would allow myself that weed if I had a friend, if I described my current situation to a friend and they signed off on it. And most of the time, in fact, every single time, they were like, yeah, that's an anxiety attack. Go smoke weed. Like, at one point, my roommate saw me. I was just kind of like sitting on the ground, clutching my head. I was just like, I need a second to know if this is okay. He's like, you can't stand up. You're dizzy from concussion stuff.
Right.
Go smoke weed, you idiot. And it helped
Right.
immensely. But
you took a moment to
I took
consider.
that moment. Yeah. And that's something I think I'm going to keep. Like, the first night. Yeah. First night in April, I was like, I had smoked a little bit and just, to enjoy it. And I was getting ready for bed. And then I debated smoking some more, but I was like, no, I'm just going to go to sleep and I don't need this. And it was very easy for me to just say no to that and save it.
So let's circle back to the concussion. How are you?
For the most part, better. For the most part, better. But like post-concussion syndrome, I've had it for like a month and a half or
Jeez
so.
Louise.
Yeah, it can last for like 3 months, or if you're really unlucky, a year. I'm still getting better, but I do get moments of like, oh, I'm dizzy, or ooh, my head hurts, or like loud noises, like if a siren passes by me on the sidewalk, I'm going to recoil for a sec, but I can notice that I'm on the upswing.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like I think it's just time, annoying bullshit time to heal.
damn time. Fuck you, Cyndi Lauper.
Oh God! Time after time.
Yeah.
Okay. What else can I take away from that? I feels like nobody is in debate of like, yeah, energy drinks are bad. Let's not
But
do those anymore.
you have one now.
That's a Gatorade.
It's an energy drink.
That's not an
It's
energy
sugar
drink.
water.
Not compared to what he was taking.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
I was doing.
So
like-
this is the O'Doul's to what you were drinking.
Absolutely. Oh God, this month I have been chugging so much Gatorade.
Which is sugar water.
Fuck.
I'm just saying. It's
I've also been drinking flavored seltzer water.
oh, that's tasty.
Yeah, I found like a real good. There's
La
one
Croix?
called, no, Clear Choice. Clear Choice has like really good flavors
Where
in
do
there.
you get Clear Choice?
From the one supermarket near my apartment.
That'll do it. That's
Yeah.
why no one's ever heard of it.
No.
Except your neighbors. You and your neighbors.
But if you can find it, that orange mango seltzer water or that strawberry kiwi seltzer water, girl.
Is it store brand that's really polar, like Trader Joe's does?
It might be.
It might really be polar.
But if you can find it online, get it because that shit's
Clear Choice.
legit.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, also lots and lots of Gatorade, which I'll give up sugar at some point
Yeah.
for the podcast. But like, I figure Gatorade in substitute of alcohol and energy drinks is pretty good.
Yeah, don't do it all at once. When I quit drinking, a friend who is also sober in AA, I was workshopping ideas with her. I said, yeah, I'm eating a lot of sugar now as alcohol replacement. And I figure like in 3 months, I'll give it up. And she said, girl, give yourself a year. You're not going to get this overnight. And I laughed. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to put time limitation. I'm trying to put logic to this like emotional crutch I've leaned on for years and saying like, and by this date and time, then I shall stop meeting my emotional needs with sugar. And that was unrealistic. And it took like a few years. And I took a break from sugar the first few months of this year and I'm back because it's hard. It's in everything.
I'm really happy to hear you say all of that. For one, just admitting that like sugar is a tough one to
Yeah.
kick. And like I know it is addictive.
Yeah.
But it's also just really good.
It's so fun.
It's so good.
Preach.
But the idea of like take a year, that's very comforting to hear because I am someone who's like, oh, I want to make this change in my life. I am making this change in my life. Like if I see the goal and I see that I'm the only one standing in the way of that goal, I'm like, well, fucking change it. You can do it. Come on. Don't be a dick or whatever I call myself at that moment.
But if you set too many goals at once, you're setting yourself up for failure at everything. So just doing one thing and maintaining that one thing for as long as you can, then you're winning at that one thing. You know, we can't do
That
everything.
Classic SMART goal shit right there.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Specific, measurable.
Yeah. So like when I started eating sugar
Attainable.
again, I thought, well, it's not the worst thing I've ever done. And it's not the worst thing for my body. It's not great for my body, but you know, I know how to eat vegetables. I know what I need to do to make things run in my system, but I just got to check out my blood work's fine.
I also feel like I feel like I've lost some weight.
You might
a couple people have noticed or said that I look thinner. I don't know if that's starting the new job where I'm on my feet so much, but like I think it's a combo.
If your liver and kidneys are back up functioning, it would make sense that it was processing out a bunch of stuff and things.
I don't know if they were not functioning.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't have any evidence.
We don't.
I would joke because I had lost 50 pounds when I quit drinking, and I've gained some of that back. But I would joke that it was all liver. It was all like liver and kidneys, and now they're slim. I have slim liver, sliver.
Sliver. Yeah, that's where that term comes from.
Yeah.
James, any ruminations on all of this?
Yeah, man. I think it's what you've realized are your patterns, and I think anytime we can realize our patterns, that's super healthy. And not all those patterns need to change, right? Like we realize that we brush our teeth every morning. That's a pattern that shouldn't stop. So
True.
patterns aren't bad things. Our brain's naturally wired to do that, so that we don't have to focus on while we're doing those patterns, we can focus on other shit that matters to us. And so I love the fact that you've realized some of your patterns and you've realized the role that you want alcohol to play in your life. Again, I don't drink because I'm against alcohol at all. Do you, boo? But I love the fact that you've realized the role that you want alcohol to play in your life, and it's something that you love and it's something that you enjoy. It's like, well, freaking hell yeah, keep doing that.
Yeah.
And you've recognized that. I think also you learned, you had an aha moment on our last talk of what weed was for you and what weed was in that pattern. And so that's powerful just to be able to name this shit, right? You have to own who you are so you can be real to other people. And so in that space, it's just cool that you have these moments of owning who you are where you can explain things, right? It's just, I think we're all striving, as cheesy as it sounds, towards this whatever idea of clarity. And so we throw these goals out there, these carrots, but we convince ourselves that our arms aren't long enough. But they are, right? And you did it for this month, and you realized what that carrot means to you. So that's awesome. I think it's badass. And the fact that you're not doing energy drinks anymore, that's great, right? That's a tiny victory out of some of this stuff. And I think that's what it's about. Like, I love how you called yourself out earlier where you're like, I need change now. Change. I will change.
Very, very type A.
Yeah. You're like Animal from the Muppets. Change.
Don't be silly. He's a much better drummer than I am.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the fact that you called yourself out on that, right? Knowing that about yourself is huge. I mean, I know there are things that I personally struggle with. A lot of my struggles around weight, and just like, when can I eat? Why shouldn't I eat? Why fucking I'm eating? And just, what does it look like to eat a salad? I'm someone who lives by the motto, the moment is more important than what comes after the moment. And so that means that when I'm traveling, if I'm in a really cool place, I want to eat at that badass restaurant that's known for whatever it's known for. I don't want to go grab the 6-inch Subway sub that I know will be more healthy. And it's just a quick, easy thing. And I'll even save some money. It's like, no, it's about the story. And so I need to notice that sometimes that is a crutch of mine, where it's like, yeah, bro, that's also an excuse for you not to take care of yourself sometimes. And so just being able to call ourselves out on our own shit is huge. And so the fact that you can see those triggers is amazing.
I think that's a tricky one that you just pointed out, because I too go on the idea of like, well, I'm in this new place, I want to treat myself, or I want to try this restaurant, and how often am I going to be here? Like, but yeah, it is a little escape hatch for your goals, your personal goals. There's got to be a balance. I kept a calendar near my bed and marked it every time I smoked weed or drank, and so I could keep track of it. And I think I'm going to do something similar with that, like in terms of days where I treat myself or rest days or whatever. Like, if I notice that, like, 3 days in a week I have eaten terribly and called it a rest day, that's not okay. That's not.
So you're calling it a treat or a rest to eat horribly?
Yes.
So maybe switch that around, because like a treat to me is like, I ate a salad. Like like I'm
Sharon, are you asking me to lie to myself?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Or consider the way you're thinking about it.
Okay.
Like treating yourself to something bad for you. Like, is it really a treat because you feel so crappy after?
No, it's a treat because it tastes good. And I like pasta.
I like pasta too.
I love pasta.
It's very good. And I eat it in my bed, and then I can just watch Doctor Who from there.
I hear Sharon's point, and I agree with it. I think ultimately the language that we use to describe ourselves matters. And I think that's what the point that she's really trying to get at, is that if we use some of these negative terms and it just builds up shame, it doesn't build up change.
So something to think about as you move forward, and as I move forward, and for me to think about. The way I think about food, and, like I just said, I'm back eating sugary treats again, which doesn't make me feel great, but I crave it now because I've always craved it,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I think,
but it doesn't make me feel great.
You mentioned that you're reading more. I forget if we talked about this last time, but I'm a huge fan of her work with Brene Brown. Her book, Daring Greatly, talks a lot about some of the stuff around shame and just like the negative language that we have in our heads. And if you're not a reader, her TED Talk is a great start. She's got 2 TED Talks. They're both amazing. But she writes the way she's talked. She's a Spitfire Texan who talks a lot about shame and perfectionism and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Meh.
All right. So
it's a process, all of this.
yeah. I think the idea that like after these 30 days, I'm going to know myself or that's I was being very naive, but
you did.
Yeah.
You learned a lot about yourself in 30 days.
Absolutely.
I did.
There's a difference between learning a lot about yourself and feeling like you needed to change everything in 30 days. One of those is bullshit and unrealistic. The other one is pretty badass.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I've got a handle on the things that I do need to change and the things that like are okay for now. Like there's still a part of me that wishes I smoked weed less, but the fact of the matter is like I've tried meditation, I've tried a bunch of stuff.
You tried dove's blood.
I tried dove's blood, for crying out loud. Like,
This is what I feel when
I gotta say, if doves didn't want to be squeezed for their delicious blood
It wasn't
juices,
real blood.
we don't know. There's no way to know.
What was the
You
consistency?
sent him to
of
the good
liquid?
story.
Yeah.
Oh,
You sent him to the good store.
it's good.
And they pegged me as an Aries the second I walked in, and I
Yeah.
don't know how I feel about that, but
Yeah, very detail oriented.
yeah.
Yeah,
But there were 2 black cats I got to play with.
yeah, they're great.
Enchantments in New York City on, what was it, 9th
Ninth.
Street? Yeah.
East Night.
East 9th Street. Thank you to Enchantments for the dove's blood.
But again, the oil itself, is just oil.
I know, but also meditation is so fucking irritating. Like,
There it is.
all right. Yes, I did meditate and I continue
And I
to.
got so pissed off.
It's so irritating. I'm like, oh, okay, great. I've sat here for 20 minutes. I'm breathing. Great. 5 minutes have gone by. Fuck me. Like, I thought it was 20 minutes, but
Classic
like,
Aries.
oh, I'm going to flip this table.
I don't know what an Aries is, but is it the bull? The bull?
No,
yeah.
it's a ram.
It's the fire. Oh, yeah, sure.
It's fine.
It's the fire one. One of the fire ones. with
But
horns.
Aries likes to act before they think, and Aries is like a puppy dog whose paws have grown before the rest of his body, and he just kind of slides into the room, like, "What's going on? I want to try that. Don't mind if I don't."
Stop describing me so perfectly.
Aries is a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. but-
All the signs are fun, and we're all jerks in different ways. And
True.
Zodiac plus $2 buys you a Coke, but it also describes like what kind of jerk and what kind of fun you are.
And I talked about horoscope on a different episode,
We'll
so
have
we
to
don't
listen
need to
to
go
the
into
series.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think I didn't give meditation enough try?
It's always available to you in the future if you
That's
want to
true.
try. Maybe you'll do another segment, another episode on meditation.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it all at once. Like, you dabbled in it this month and you weren't ready.
And it takes a while for meditation to kick in. Like
Yeah.
I know when I started doing it, my brain, I have ADHD. I'm all over the place. So meditation took a long time for me to start to actually, for me to start noticing it, or any benefits from it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm ADD, and I feel like I can only meditate when I'm high. Like, not really, but it definitely does help me sit down and not do for a little bit.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, I mean, you mentioned smoking weed is really good for you at the end of the day. That's when you
Yeah.
find it most beneficial. Meditation may be something that you do in the very beginning of the day to try to just slow down instead of just like punching the day in the face. Like, let me slow down. Let me figure out what matters today.
Oh.
And it's a really cool way to focus up in the beginning. And help you prioritize, especially for you and I, people with ADHD. It's a cool way to kind of slow down instead of immediately get up and be like,
I immediately get up and go into my turkey impression.
yeah, naturally. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We have to slow down.
So
do I
you-
want to do the turkey impression?
So you think like just wake up 15 minutes earlier and meditate for about 15?
Yeah, sure. You could tell yourself that. That sounds amazing. I'd probably just wake up whenever the fuck you wake up and then meditate then. Because otherwise you're going to start beating yourself up about, I can't even wake up 10 minutes early and do anything. Oh, God, look at me. I'm a fucking failure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
you
wake
guys,
up when you're waking up.
you have a direct line to my internal monologue.
Well, we're all more alike than unalike.
That's true.
We all have this stuff. We all love the snooze button.
Oh my God, do I?
Breach.
All right. Well, if we started with me feeling on a scale of 0 to -10, a -6 about sobriety. I mean, for me personally, like not putting on anybody else. I think for anybody else, good. Go live your life. For me personally, certain aspects of it I really liked. Staying sober might be a better way of putting it, because like it's not full on sobriety that I ended up enjoying, but like being more selective of when I was not. So
Sure.
picking my moments to imbibe, be it alcohol or marijuana, a little bit more. So under that idea, I'm all for it. Like under that idea of being more mindful of when to do that stuff, I'd say I'm up to +5. I'm saying we jump like 11 points up in the scale to I dig it.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you guys for your help with all of this and with the me.
And you did the work.
Did that work?
I did, but
Yeah. I mean, we can share our stories, but you did it.
yeah, but I would not have had a vial of dove's blood if not for both of you.
Well, okay, I'll take credit for
Please,
that.
please do not give me any credit for
I'll
that.
take all of it.
That's all I have.
Sharon
Sharon
Spell.
Dove's Blood Spell. Old DB.
Take a hard pass on that Dove's blood.
Guys, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Sure. I have a website that's my name, SharonSpell.com. That part's not my name. You'll figure it out. I'm on the internet. I'm very Googleable. I'm on Google. I have a podcast called The Sharon Spell Show. We have 152 episodes at the moment.
Mazel
and,
tov.
it feels good. Feels good. We talk to different people in our community, comedians, storytellers, improvisers. And I have a monthly storytelling show at Halyards that I co-host with Molly Cameron, and it's called Gems. It's Gem Stories. We book 2 storytellers, and then we have jewelry box spots for other people who want to work on their diamonds in the rough.
Oh, I like that.
Nice.
Come over.
I like that a
Yeah.
lot. When is that again?
That is the 4th Tuesday of the month at Halyards in Brooklyn.
Gotcha. I very well might check that out.
Find out more at SharonSpell.com.
Smooth. James.
I'm James Robilotta. You can find me on the internet everywhere at James T. Robo, R-O-B-O. That's JamesTRobo.com and James T. Robo Instagram, Twitter, all those kind of things. I perform weekly with North Coast Hip Hop Improv. We perform every Saturday night at the People's Improv Theater. And we also do a historical hip opera called Anybody that we're doing at the Caveat Theater certain dates.
Nice.
So check that out. And also, if for whatever reason you felt like anything I said on this podcast hit you, I also do coaching. So I'd love to work one-on-one with you for 3 to 6 months and help you get out of your own way. Hit me up, JamesTRobo@gmail.com.
That's life coaching?
Yes, sir.
I like that. I feel coached by you guys a little bit. My heart's a little warm. I would like to plug, as always, You Are Not Alone, an uplifting show about depression. This Thursday, April 12th at the Magnet Theater. Also, every Thursday at the Magnet Theater, why don't you just come by at like 5:30 or 6 for the Magnet Mixer, which I host along with the You Are Not Alone crew. Anybody can do an improv scene. And if you're super new to it or not experienced, I'll pair you up with somebody who is, and you'll have a great time. So Thursday, April 12th, just come to the Magnet Theater at 5:30 and stay till 9:30. I don't care what you do in the little gap in between. I guess see a Magnet show. They're pretty good. MagnetTheater.com. They offer classes and shows in improv, sketch, acting, storytelling, musical improv, all that great stuff. 7 days a week, and lots of great shows also 7 days a week. So go check them out. MagnetTheater.com. Also, if you would like to follow this podcast, reach out at Don't Mind Podcast or email me at don'tmindpodcast@gmail.com. Or if it's just like me, Aaron, the brand that you're into, follow at Hey, it's Aaron Gold. Guys, thank you. This is one of those episodes, maybe it's because we recorded it in 2 parts a month apart, but like I feel like I've grown as a person.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really have.
It's good to be part
Thank
of
you.
this.
I feel like my heart's being pet.
Gross. Aaron's blood.
Love, dub.
James, Sharon, thank you guys so much for joining. And as always,
Thank you.
keep on minding.
Mm.
Mm.
Nailed it.